no one's in the chat or anything, but I'll just say this out loud for the archive later. I'm just doing a little bit of code work right now, updating my navigation system to have these sort of inset amounts, so that when a character is in a region, if they're like a really wide character, I can like inset them in the region a bit when I clamp them to that region. So that's what we're doing right now. Just need to go through all my region types. I need to add this new inset parameter to all the clamping functions, and I'm going to go back to the top and we're actually going to handle that parameter. But as people jump into the chat, feel free to ask me any questions. So the first case is a sphere. If I'm clamping you to a sphere, normally for local coordinates, UVW, we just clamp you to this size R. I'm going to say, like, R is just like the radius of the sphere. So I'm going to say like an inset R is just going to be math max of 1 and R minus x of R. This will do f math like 0. Yeah. And for clamp position, it's the same sort of thing. But this is a world space position, so we're taking the position minus the center of the sphere and clamping that to our inset R. So the sphere's radius minus how much we want to inset. So that covers it for spheres. Let's move on to the next one is OBB, which is like a kind of just like common acronym for Oriented Bounding Box. So let's see here, clamp, here we go. So basically the bounding box has extents in the XYZ direction. Extent is like the half width, right? You might think of that as the metropolis, like the axis-oriented distance from the center of the box. We usually use the center rather than the corner because it makes the math simpler. So you're very often talking about like the half, the extent, like the half width, right, rather than the full width of the box, because everything's relative to the center. So similar to with the sphere, except instead of creating like an inset radius, we're going to create inset extents. And then when we're clamping down here, we want to clamp to this new inset extent. And where is clamp position? Oh, was that defined in the header? Let's see. Sometimes if these functions are simple enough, I define them in the header and that lets them be inline. No, but this one wasn't. Where is clamp position? Here it is. Yeah, so we just want to like clamp your UVW and then make sure to also pass inset in. So that handles it for 2 of our navigation region types. You can see the full list of types are spheres, oriented bounding box, cylinders, capsules, splines, and reticulated splines. So now let's move on to cylinders. So here's clamp UVW. You can see once again we have inset. Rider has graded out here because we're not using it yet. So you can see what's happening here is we're basically using, as opposed to a sphere which just has a radius, the cylinder has both a radius and a half height. So we're going to need to compute both an inset radius and an inset half height. So subtract the inset off of both of those. And then here, wherever we're referencing radius, we're just going to call you inset R now. And wherever we're referencing half height, we're now just going to call you inset half height. So I think that's all the references to radius and all the references to half height. That does it for clamp UVW. Now let's do it for clamp position. The reason, by the way, I have separate functions for clamping local positions, like region local positions, and clamping world positions, is like usually you can just convert them to local coordinates and do everything in local coordinates, but sometimes, like in the cases of spheres and other common things, there's like a cheap way to do it in world space, which is independent of having to do local space transforms. It's just like a small optimization. So it's a little extra code, like a little extra boilerplate here. But, you know, we do now have calculations a lot, so I felt that was one place where I could afford to be like a little more explicit about things. Cool. So I think that covers all the uses of R and HH in this function. So now let's move on to our next clamped function, which is for capsules. So capsules, you know, are very much like cylinders, except instead of being hard capped at the top, it's like you've taken a sphere, like cut it along the equator and stretched it out. So you have sphere logic on the ends and cylinder logic in the middle. Same sort of thing. We want to come in here and whoop, go back up and copy that code I had for computing the insets. We want to calculate the inset radius and half height. Inset R, instead of radius. So that covers all the use of R and all the use of half height. So that does it for clamp UVW, the local space. Now let's do it for clamp position, the world space version. R, HH. Okay, so that covers all the references to RNHH for capsule regions. So now let's look up what's next. Splines. So the way that it works on the splines is basically I find the point on the spline that's closest to like your world position, and your local quote-unquote coordinate, like your x-coordinate is that distance along the spline, then the y-z are the horizontal and vertical offsets from the spline. And so when you're clamping a position to the spline, I basically just clamp you to a sphere centered at the closest position on the spline from your position. So very similar, all I have to do is subtract the inset from that radius and all those calculations should still work. Bada bing, that does it for clamp position, and then for clamp PVW, it's very similar. Just want to say inset R instead of R, and we're good. So, and then it's basically exactly the same for linear splines. Clamp PVW. Did say R minus inset up here, right? No, I just said, ooh, what was I doing? Just gonna have to go back and double check all of these again later. It looks like I had a few typos, but all in a day's work. Clamp position in linear spline, inset R, and we replace all references to R to references to inset R. Similarly, in clamp position, just want to clamp you max size inset R. So now I'm going to just search through this file and like whack F3 to slip through every referenced inset and just make sure I didn't have any other typos like that one that I found. Searching from the top. So inset R, max of 0 and R minus inset. Inset R, max of 0 and R minus inset. This one, clamp position, is just referring to clamp PVW. Clamp PVW. We have extent minus max of 0 and extent minus inset along each of the directions, x, y, z. And then we use that inset extent for clamp UVW. What have we got here? We have R minus inset and half height minus inset. And then all the references to radius and half height below that are using these new inset versions. Here, once again, we have R minus inset and half height minus inset, and then we are using those versions. Same again, just in world space. Here we are on the spline. This is where we have the typo, so now it's max and R minus inset, and we just reference inset R. Similar right here, R minus inset, we clamped inset R. Exact same logic in the reticulated spline, and we're good. So now, have a nav agent component. And they have this method set goal position clamp. And so in this function here, we're going to set your goal to your current location, but then like clamped inside of there. And so I actually want to give these nav agents like a inset radius. And clamp the position, we're going to pass that configured radius in. And luckily the boy has joined us, so we'll adjust the camera so we can all admire him. Hey, buddy. And we'll raise the cat cam logo. Beep. Cool. So let's, I'll drag this window down. We're just recompiling right now. It's C++. Unfortunately, that means it's slow. But actually, oh wait, no, I can't actually live code this. So we're just going to need to cancel and just totally shut down the engine and then rebuild it from here. I actually added a property to one of the headers, so it's going to want to actually have me restart the engine. That's why it wasn't starting up. But also because I added a header, it's now just taken extra long to build. Because I invalidated 22 files. And I had a typo. Where was my typo? Extra comma. Okay, build succeeded. You can't see it, but there's a loading screen on my other monitor. Beep 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 boop beep 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 boop beep boop boop beep 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 boop beep boop beep. I'll pull this down. So let me go. I have these walking gun enemies. Let's open up their blueprint. And you can see they have a navigation component, and we have this new radius inset parameter that we made for them. Let's see, I'm gonna update their inset radius to, I guess, 2.5 meters. So what that should do is now you can see, like, if I look at like road navigation, instead of like the center of this guy going right up to the edge, we're now going to inset you by 2 meters. So it should stay on the road better and not, because like what I was seeing before, what like motivated this little adventure. So I was seeing them like crash into buildings just because their like butt was hanging out in the nav region. So now, let's just make sure the code all still works. Yeah, and they're doing a pretty good job of being like clamped inside. He still kind of clipped that corner pretty tight, but he got around it. Oh my goodness, so many guys. I need to come up with like a better combat strategy with these guys, because just backing away with them and just like painting them with bullets until they explode a minute later is not very fun gameplay. I think maybe they should have like a weak spot. You should try and aim for the weak spot. Anyway, I was testing navigation. I wasn't testing combat. Let's go to God mode. Cool. So just let this guy chase me around a bit. Hang out in the square. I can like maybe get up here. And they're just kind of like hanging out the side of the building. They're not like rubbing on the geometry as much as they were before. You can go into this tunnel. They're following me in the tunnel. It does look like, because of how much, like here, let's see. Because of this road width now, they're maybe like not having enough room to maneuver. Like it seemed like they were really just like lining up. I think maybe 250 was too much. Let's only inset them by 1 meter. So all the units in Unreal are centimeters. So it's 100 centimeters is a meter. Blog says, I would have assumed the red on the front was a weak spot. Yeah, I didn't like have a plan when I modeled these guys. I did kind of imagine the red on the front is like their barrel. I kind of imagine that they like charge up energy in their like mechanical thorax and then shoot the fireball out. And so you're like kind of seeing the energy build up inside of them. That kind of makes sense that it would be like a weak point. But I also kind of like, I don't know, I'll have to figure it out. I kind of like the idea that you can sneak up behind them and there's maybe a spot on their back for sneak attacks. So let's go back in here. He's chasing me. Now if you chase me into the tunnels, are you still stuck in the middle of the road, or you have like a little bit that you can navigate left and right now? Okay, I think this is pretty good. Let's just come out here. See if you can make it all the way out of there. Looking pretty good. They're great on these boulevards because they're nice and wide anyway. Can you clip around this corner? No trouble getting around the corner. Or are you? Wait, did you lose track of me? Are you going around the opposite direction? What are you doing? Why are you stopping? Let me see. Debug draw navigation. Oh ho ho, look at this. Okay, so this might be like kind of hard to see, but like if I eject and go no clip, you can see this little red dot right here. That means these nav regions are unlinked. So I guess this box is just not wide enough. We need to go whoop. Now that they're inset, I'm not as worried about these nav regions going all the way to the collision on the buildings. So, does this work? Yeah, okay, we got green. We got green dots. That means that those nav regions are all connected up again. So now if I just grab one of those spawners and move it to the other side so I can make it easier to test on those boulevards. Can go back to regular play. Now we can see is able to follow me around this corner just fine. Wonderful. Get over here. He's still chasing me. I can go out onto this bridge. He'll follow me out onto the bridge. Or will he? Is this disconnected? It doesn't seem like it's disconnected, but he seems oddly unable to pursue me onto the bridge. Wonder what that's all about. Also make sure these boulevards are configured to be ground. Yeah, ground. Ground. Here, this boulevard, ground, this one, ground. Okay, I wonder what's up over there. Here, while I'm over here, I'm gonna widen these as well. Just to make sure that they're like right up against those buildings and marking up as much space for them to maneuver as we can. I think I've also got this box in here, which is already like basically out to the buildings. I wonder why he's not pursuing me onto that bridge. Let's check this out. So, there he is. He's aggro. You got that line pointing at me because he's pursuing me. Pursuing me around the corner. And, okay, he's out on the bridge. I wonder why he was stopped before. That's so weird. But that bridge is kind of not exactly wide enough, and he's kind of slipping off the side. Here, we can increase the width here. Let's make those bridges 6.5 meters, maybe. Let's make Objects nicely centered on the center line of the road. Got another one over here. Blogout Blark says, this is looking so much more together than the last time I stopped in. I think around the time you started these streams. Yeah, I've been doing these for almost a year now. Ooh. We're getting close. I've got most of the systems that I need now. I've just got to like actually flesh out the level. So let's give people like a little overview of like all the regions in this level. So there's this like urban section in here. There's like airspace above the urban section in which there's these two cruisers that are going around. There is over here, which I'm thinking is just kind of like a water treatment plant or something. There's over here, which is going to be like factories and industrial stuff. And then over here is going to be like the big luxury, like rich people buildings. And I think I might also, on the corner over here, add like a stadium, like a kind of like half dome, and put like another little mini boss inside that half dome. And then additionally, there's like a sewer system. So there's like a big chamber under the main city. There's a big chamber under the water treatment plant, which has a mini boss. And actually today I might start working on this. I want to start building just like a network of tunnels that goes out this way. There'll be like a big sort of like cramped area that's just like underneath the water here. And then way over here, I think there's going to be like 1 or 2 connections up into the factory area. I also, this like big building in the middle here is like hollow, and so there's like vertical gameplay that can happen inside of there, and I want that to be connected up with this chamber that's right below it as well. Or possibly, I don't know, I think I might have like a side channel on this tunnel here that like goes up into this building maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But the basic concept of the gameplay is like, you know, where's Waldo? So, you know, you'll have 5 minutes on the clock to collect as many credits as you can. Credits are like money that things drop when you blow them up. And hopefully you kind of like finish a run, you feel pretty good about it, and then you see like, oh, I only got like 1/10 as much of the pickups as I could, and there were tons of secrets that I missed, and like apparently whole parts of the level I didn't find, and so hopefully people will replay it, and it's a lot more interesting as like a space that you can go back to, as opposed to like a narrative driven game where you just kind of like burn through the content and it's all one and done. So yesterday I was re-hooking up a lot of these like aerial navigation regions, and like I added a bunch of these like walking pathways between the buildings as excuses to put flight paths underneath them. So like if I go up here and find some of these enemies and get them all aggro, you know, they can pursue me down into this sort of like court here, and then as I fly underneath here, they all like fly under and over the building to pursue me. So we can come up here and sort of, they're still coming at me. So the aerial gameplay is sort of just as interesting as the ground gameplay. Uh-oh, what is this? There's some disconnected splines. They don't go high enough. How did that happen? Let's connect them up. Zoop. Zoop. Are they green now? Yeah, they're green. So you can see these aerial regions that are above the city. They weave between the buildings. They also connect up, and they can go down through the sewer tunnels and like even into these deeper sewer tunnels. So in principle, like an enemy can pursue you all the way from like above the tower and like into the sewers and around. So I hope that makes it like a more engaging experience. It doesn't just feel like, oh, there's a bunch of little sectors and you can sort of like avoid enemies by just not walking into their sector. Like, nope, they're gonna continue to pursue you and grief you. So these are connected up here. Were they also connected up on the other side, I think? Yeah, these were all connected up. Wonder what caused that. That's weird. So just to show that in action, I'll turn off navigation debug, and we can just play. I'm not gonna die or anything, I still have God mode on, but you can see like I got them all angry, they're pursuing me. I come down into this courtyard, they can pursue me into the courtyard. I can come down here by the tunnels, they can pursue me under that building. You can come around here to that sort of like region that I placed over the sewer system. They're still pursuing me. I can go underground where these other guys are, and they're gonna come through those tunnels. They're still pursuing me. I think some of them gave up because if I get far enough away for too long, they like lose aggro status. So I think some of them just kind of lost aggro. I bet if I go out of these tunnels, they're just gonna be like hanging out here, yeah. So I got a whole bunch of them on my butt. Coming here. They're all coming in after me. We can go in through this tunnel, into these sewer tunnels. They're all pursuing me into the sewer tunnels. Look how fucking dope this is. So, I'm gonna do Macross missiles on them. And it would be a lot more challenging if I didn't have God mode on. So yeah, that's sort of the current status there. I'm trying to think about this chamber. It's kind of like big and open, and that's okay in some senses, but I think there's like more I want to do. Like I want to have some ground guys down here. I want to maybe have some structures down here. Obviously, we need to hide loot crates behind all the waterfalls. So yeah. Let's think about what is going to happen with this sewer. I guess like we can have it, I guess what I'll do is I'll have it come in here and then turn into like a ring, right? And then sort of like there will be like a main ring, and then maybe there will be sort of more like spokes coming off of that ring. We'll just sort of check that out, see how interesting that is. I'll also make the intersection, these junctions. Here, let me go to unlit mode so it's easier to see. But you can also make all the junctions underneath here like a little bit wider, so they're kind of like underground rooms. So yeah, let's do that. Turn game mode back on. So the way that this works, I actually built a whole system for underground tunnels. So the two relevant actors are zip. I have the tunnel actors, right? So this is sewer tunnel south. And then I have these junction actors, right? And I just represent those with the like, this is like when you make a billboard on something, by default Unreal just gives it a little dragon head. So I was like, sure, whatever. Dragon. They're like, I don't know, sewer alligators. So yeah, I can like drag those sort of like tunnel junctions around, and you'll see. So what I can do is I can grab one of these, and I can alt drag left and right to make duplicates. And then if I come in here, I look at, there's like a tunnel segments dingus here. So I can say, hey, I want to insert a new segment. I want it to go from this junction to this junction, and there we go. We've got a new tunnel. I can insert another one, and I can say I want to go from eyedropper this junction to this junction, and now, you know, we have like a three-way intersection in here. In addition to the tunnel junctions, I've also nested underneath all those tunnel junctions these stream junctions that I can use to extend the stream. And I like having like a stream going through the tunnels here, basically because it kind of looks like a conveyor belt. It gives like a direction. So you know, like, wait, if I like look both ways and like both of these intersections look the same, I at least know like, wait, I was going downstream. So like if I want to backtrack, I go this way, whereas if I want to go forward, I'll go this way. So yeah, so let's just see what we can do about extending this into a kind of circle. So I've got these two junctions that are going sort of left and right. I can duplicate them, zip, and extend the tunnel segments. here to here, and from insert here to here. So then we can grab these little guys. They're like the ends. Move them out over here. And then I think what I want to do is grab just one of them over here. Then we'll fill out this like whole tunnel area by connecting both of them back together at a junction over here. So select our tunnel again, insert here to here, and then insert here to here. Now another interesting thing that you can see is that if I go to my like Swiss Army knife of tools, these are just like a bunch of like custom actions, but one of them is update tunnel nav. I can click that and you can see what happens if I go into like debug drone navigation and simulate that. Like not only did it plot all of the like mesh and collision for these like tunnel segments, but it also plotted navigation inside of here. So like all these enemy AIs, they can wander into the tunnels, they can wander into this loop. And it's actually smart enough, you can see there's a few places where there's like internal links, right? Like these sort of like green dots inside of here. And those are because like the navigation regions only work when they're like relatively convex. Like they can bend a little bit, but they can't make a full loop. So like whenever I discover like a tunnel loop, I actually like cut it into like 3 nav regions. So anyway, Xing out of that, we can come in here, we can do like a quick test. Stop drawing navigation, but let's actually spawn the player. So how this is looking is like, yeah, you've got 2 directions to go. It's pretty comfortable to fly in here. I do want all these junctions on this side though to be a little wider. You can see there's like a radius, like a corner radius. And I can actually, just trying to select junctions. I'm shift selecting them, you can see they're all still yellow. But if I go into their properties, I can override the padding. So I can actually say like, I can make them like pretty generous. So now, it should look a lot, yeah, now we should have like much more gentle turns as we come around here. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Just flying around for a bit. Cool. So let's look at this top down. I think the shape of it is a little cattywampus. Here, if we like line this up and then drag it over. Take 30 and 32, I can drag them down this way a little bit. I think actually I take 29 through 33 and drag them this way. Yeah, we can get it away a little bit more. So how's this feel? Actually, it's kind of dark, so I'm just hand placing lights for now. I do want to like automatically place lights. That might be a nice thing to start working on today, actually. But yeah, let's put a light in here. Junction. And then let's make your attenuation radius a bit bigger. Cool. And then let's actually copy this just into all these junctions. So we have lights at all the corners. Yeah, they should be like regularly along the segments. I don't think they should just be in the corners, but this is pretty good. I do think there is an issue right now where, like as I'm flying through here, it looks like I'm not going as fast as I really am just because there's so little texture on the walls. I feel like maybe there should be like some kind of regular ring that like as I'm passing through it I can like get a sense of like a better sense of how fast I'm going. Lights will probably also help with that as well, but just thinking out loud here. So should we make all those turns like even gentler? Let's see. $30, $31, $32, $33, junction 28. Here, I think these two can move this way a bit, and these two can move this way a bit. But this is probably, I mean, I think the size of this is pretty good. Now I think another thing I might want to do is I can adjust the joint tension. Yeah, there we go. That makes it like rounder. Yeah. So this is like a big space. I could like put like a guy inside of here and it would be fine. Wait, let me see. I'm flying around. It's feeling pretty good. I think because it's a ring, it's always going one way. It would be cool if we had an S shape where you took like a left turn and then a right turn. Yeah, and then we come back around and here we are back in here. Let's copy these stream junctions. So these like star shapes. Bethion says maybe sewer pipes with water coming into the system. Yeah, there's like a lot of greebles and other things I want to do. I also need to have more little sewer greebles to kind of justify how the water changes from like blue in the drainage to like green in the sewage. I was thinking of there being like some very neon green little waterfalls coming in, showing it like mixing up and becoming gross. Anyway, so we can come over here and I can attach this stream junction to this tunnel junction. I can do the same over here. I can grab this stream junction, out drag it to make a copy, and then say attach to. I attach these together so that when I move the tunnels, it moves the stream as well. So now, similar to with the tunnels, all we have to do is come into the stream here. Now with the stream, I have to be a little more conscientious when I'm adding segments, because the stream will flow in the direction that I add them. So like I want it to flow from this guy to this guy. And I want another one, insert, to flow from this guy to this guy. And you can see the stream isn't matched up. That's easy enough solved. I basically just need to come in here and say, take the 2000 padding and the 2/3 tension, and just apply that to these as well. So 2000 padding and joint tension 2/3. And now I wonder why it's what's happening there. Oh, it's overriding the, oh, let's get rid of that. There we go. So now you can see it's flowing left, it's flowing right. There is one texture seam right here. This is kind of unavoidable because it's going this way in this direction and this way in this direction. I don't actually think that's super bad, although in the middle here it doesn't look great sometimes. It's kind of flickering. So I think probably what I'm going to do in these cases is I'm just going to have some bubbling particles. I'm just going to kind of scatter around here, and that should make it like, you know, just sort of like flow. That will just like hide this texture seam. But yeah, you can see we can stand in here. It's like ankle deep. One day I'll have time to add splash effects. That'll be cool. My time is not today. I've got so much work to do. But so yeah, let's just extend this stream. How do I want to do this? So I think actually I want to, now that I'm thinking about it, I want there to be a segment that pops off this way, right? Or like maybe it comes out this way. Like maybe it's like 1/3 and 2/3. Would that be good? I don't know. Let's just, for now, just pop this out, drag it over here, and then junction that up. So we'll extend the tunnel from here to here. And then for streams, let's just keep copying these stream junctions around. Attach to the dragon head. 0 your relative position. Alt drag another one. Alt drag is duplicate. And we'll say attach to eyedropper this one. 0 your local position. Alt drag this way. Right click, attach to this one. 0 your position. And then one more, alt drag this way. Right click, attach to eyedropper this junction. So now let's extend this stream so we can insert a new segment that flows from here to here. We can add another segment that flows from here to here. And then we'll keep flowing around this way. Flow from here to here, and then insert flow from here to here, and then the last connection, insert flow from here to here. So now you can see there it's coming in this way. So we know if we want to go back to the main sewer chamber, we just go upstream. Then we can flow around. These flow around both directions that way. They rejoin together over here, and then they start flowing this way. So maybe it'll start to be interesting here if I come in and I do a little bit of like height stuff. I wonder. Like maybe there's actually, like this is gonna be bananas. Let me try this. If I drag these guys over here, then I have two coming out of here. Here. Do it with the sewage flow as well. We'll go from here to here. What does this look like? Yeah, fork in the road. Okay. But it's not matching up. Why is it not matching up? These have joint tension, segment tension 1, segment tension 1, joint. That's weird. I wonder why these dinguses, I mean, they're being plotted by the same code. They should match. I wonder what's going on there. That's something fun to debug. Wait. They both have the same padding. They both have the same segment tension. They both have the same joint tension. They're both using the same flattening settings. These should totally match. This is a bug of some kind. That's frustrating. Total uses Twitch says, just want to say this game looks super awesome and super fun. I'm a lurker, but I'm super excited for it, and the game dev stuff is interesting. Ah, thanks. Yeah, I've been kind of working on this on the side for about a year, and then, you know, have you heard of this thing called layoffs in the game industry? I currently find myself not fully employed, and so I'm just kind of like spending my time working on this. I figure I'm just gonna give this maybe like 2 or 3 months, see if I can get into early access. If I can't do it in that time, then I definitely need to have a serious conversation with my wife about what our plans are. But that's where I'm at right now. Anyway, so I think it might be cool right here if this is like a high road, low road situation. So like maybe this goes up, and then this one goes down. It wouldn't actually make sense for this to be flowing uphill though. You know what, I'm just going to, for now, not worry about the stream. The stream will figure itself out, but I am just going to delete those 2 segments that I added for now. And we'll just think about this as like, okay, we've got this kind of like open area over here. We've got one path that goes up, and we've got one path that goes down. I think this is sloping up way too steeply. So let's bring it down a little bit. This one's probably going down way too steeply, so let's extend it this way. Cool. So you can like go deeper this way, or you can go up this way. So now, what should we do? Should we add like a chamber? I guess I'll add a chamber for now. So let me take this object called a decorative chamber, and you can see this is a pretty cool thing. I have these set up to automatically, the tunnels automatically cut holes right in it. So like as I drag it down, you see this line. That's like the hole that's being cut in it for where the tunnel is clipping its side. So that's just like handled automatically. So I'm thinking maybe this one comes over here, and there's like maybe an upper chamber, and then over here there will be like a lower chamber maybe. Here, where's this stuff relative to the map on top? So maybe we have one chamber over here, and we have the other chamber over here. Actually, it might be cool if these chambers like, here, wait, let me line them up. Sakurano T is giving me a little lurking waifu emoji. Hello, Sakurano T. Hi, hi. So yeah, let's say this goes up like this, and maybe here. Let's go back to that top-down view. Maybe how wide do we want these? Maybe we can make them wider, or like maybe they're smaller chambers than normal, and then here we can swing over here. Let's position this. Is this easier to see if I turn the lights off? No, that's way worse. But let's just, that's easy enough solve. I've got like a big spotlight here. So we can just out drag a spotlight over here and over here. Here we go. Here's this chamber. Comes in over here. I can have the tunnel. Maybe the tunnel's. Here, let's just bring this down just a little bit. Actually, I might line it up such that the corner of this tunnel and this bevel are lined up. That might look pleasing. There we go. So now, how does it feel to fly around in here? This is a pretty okay chamber. You can come in here. There's this sort of four-way junction with the high road, the low road, and the loop. You can come around the loop here. There's the connection back to the main sewers. This one just sort of goes around. Total uses Twitch says the flying is so smooth, it's crazy. Wow, lots of stuff in that top-down view. Very complex city stuff. Yeah, currently, I think I've got about, I think this is 189 buildings. So once I add all the factory buildings and all the luxury buildings. I think I'm gonna probably cap out around 300 or 320 buildings total. This is like why I needed to like automate as much of this artwork as possible, because there was no way. Even if I had an artist, they weren't gonna model that many buildings. I mean, maybe if they were one of these like speed modelers, but it's just me. So now what are we gonna do about maybe there's like 3 chambers here? Are they at and this one is like a lower chamber, and this one is maybe like a taller chamber that actually clips, like maybe we have one that actually comes up through here. I'm gonna have to update this to clip out. I'll have to Boolean the interior of this chamber from this terrain, but I think it'll work. So let's see. So maybe we move this dingus over. We have this dingus on this far side of the island. I don't really have a good plan here. Let's see. Well, let's just extend this tunnel and maybe connect it up with this guy over here for now. So let's come under here. And let's extend this. Add another junction that's inside of here. Segment from this junction to this junction. Let's see. So this one is kind of entering like in the top here. Maybe this one has like a bigger radius, but like a shorter height. Here, am I able to line up? Oh, that's a little too close. Maybe I can line it up. Top edge. Is there a spotlight in here? Where did I put all those spotlights? Oh, it was over there. Okay. Let's make another spotlight. Move it over here. And drop it down inside of here so we can see what we're doing. Okay. Your cone angle is going to need to be a lot bigger. So you're not going to have as good of shadows, but that's fine. Probably yank your intensity down. And this is sticking out way too much. Let's move it closer to the edge here. Where's poke? There's poke. Here, let's increase the tension on these. this one needs to move a bit further away. And then this junction, here, let's look at it top down. It's maybe like right there. Poke this dingus. Okay, so this is feeling pretty good. It's not like crazy tall like the other spaces. Then we can go up. And when we go up, we go into this chamber. Unfortunately, there's some light leaking. I wonder if that's from the other spotlights that are above it. Let's find out. Oh yeah, this one, we need to take your attenuation radius way down so you're not touching that other chamber. And you as well. Zoop. And are you actually... Okay. So you actually need to... have less of a fall off. You were way too low. Oh, but you've got that issue where that is clipping. Okay. So. Oh, okay, next order of business. I think this maybe both of these connect back up in here. So we'll need 2 more tunnels. And then, man, it'd be cool if there's like something in this ring. I don't know. I don't have a plan for this sewer system yet. But we also need support for cutting a hole in this terrain with this chamber. So let's go to our decorative island blueprint. So now, what we want to do, oh, excuse me. Oh, that's interesting. These dinguses don't delete their floors. That's fine, we'll figure that out. But, here, wait, let me check something really quickly. I think I was being clever before, and this is, yeah, this is doing the parent thing as well. That's fine. So we'll add a new array here. We'll just call this chambers to, what did I call it with these other places? Tunnels to subtract? Yeah, chambers to, I'll just say chamber to, now we'll say chambers plural. Now we'll just, it's just chamber to subtract. That is a DP deco chamber. Nope, we don't want a class reference, we want an object reference. Great. So then when we are rebuilding the mesh for this, when we're rebuilding this island mesh, there was like an earlier stream where I showed this, but the way the islands are made, as you can see, I have a spline for the boundary and then it just creates the mesh. Like eventually I want it to be a bit smarter and do some like more stuff. Like I want it to like auto greeble all of this like sort of coastline a bit. But in the meantime, all we need is basically file this. We want to subtract this chamber from this island. So now when we're plotting the island, we're going to look at the chamber we want to subtract. We want to convert this to a validated get. What validated get means is that you can tell if this is assigned or not. And we're saying if this has been assigned, then what we want to do is, here, let's go to our chamber blueprint. So this has a method, do rebuild mesh. We're going to add an argument to this, new parameter, which we're going to call in Boolean version. So you see what happens when I make these chambers. What's up, buddy? Yeah, you make a little noise. Cool. So what happens with the chambers is I make a chamfered cylinder, and then if I want to add an outer shell, I add another chamfered cylinder. I do some cuts, and then I flip the normals so that the faces on the inside, right, like are facing inward, and the faces on the outside are facing outward. Now when I'm subtracting, like when I'm getting a subtraction brush, all I want to do is plot this intersection, and I don't even want to do a branch here. So all I want to do is here. Let's see, target mesh, radius, height, chamfer rise, chamfer run, offset, subdivisions, in params, text, multi-v, chamfer ratio. I do not want to flip faces. And then actually I don't need any height subdivisions. I actually want fewer faces. So now, when we are rebuilding the mesh, we do want the Boolean version, or we do not want the Boolean version. Whoops, I got this backwards. Boolean version, true. Not Boolean version, false. And then over here, where we're plotting the island, what we want to do is do rebuild mesh. Only in this case, we do want the Boolean version. And we're going to place this. First, what we're going to do is we're going to say allocate compute mesh. I'm going to make sure I'm not using the compute mesh pool because I've determined that that causes crashes. Oh, snap. And here we are crashing. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Is this recoverable? This is not recoverable. Okay. Folks, we've crashed. How much work did we lose? We're about to find out. Welcome to the wild world of game development. Observe this boy. What a guy. I have having that before. It's never fun. I have it happen a dozen times a day. Here we are again. So if I go back to deco chamber, okay, we still have this. We did this stuff. I can compile and we're good. Great. Now let's go to the island. let's, okay. Let's make sure we compile. We compile, great. Let's turn that pool off first. I'm pretty sure this like enable compute mesh pool is a good idea. It's like a good optimization that's on by default. But I've got mysterious crashes with it, so I've gotten in the habit of disabling it. Anyway, we need to re-add that chamber to subtract. We'll make you a 3P gecko chamber object reference. Quick little eyeball to make it public. Pull it in here. Get. Right click. Validated get. Is valid. If it's valid, we want to allocate a compute mesh. This is basically just like a mesh that we can use as an intermediate value because we're going to plot a subtractive version, like a brush version of the chamber. Here, we'll rebuild mesh. We're going to do that Boolean version into this compute brush. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get in mesh, which is the actual island. This is the mesh that the island is doing. And in here we are going to apply Boolean. So apply mesh Boolean. Booleans are like when you're doing like union or intersection or other things like that. So our target mesh is the island. Our target transform is the transform of the island. Our tool mesh, actually I'm going to just unplug this for now so it doesn't crash while we're working. Our tool mesh is this brush mesh that we computed from the chamber. Our tool transform is the actor transform of the chamber. The action that we are performing is subtract. And actually another thing I'm going to do, this is a little trick for working with Booleans that I found, is I'm going to take my compute mesh here. After I rebuild the mesh, I'm going to say remap material IDs. I'm going to say remap all your materials to ID 1. And then we're going to apply this mesh Boolean. And the reason I wanted to change the material ID is that when you subtract two meshes, it's going to contain some geometry from one mesh and some geometry from the other. And you can do, and the Boolean operation maintains materials, so you can differentiate between them based on their material ID. So now I want to delete everything from this mesh that came from the chamber, right? So I just want to take this mesh. I want to say get triangles, get triangles by material ID. On material ID 1, that was the material that's coming in from the brush that I'm subtracting. And then with this one, I just want to say delete triangles from mesh. Just delete everything with the chamber material from in mesh. I'll just plug that directly. So now I can plug this back in. Bada bing, bada bing. And we can, hopefully this works now. Let's find out. So I can eyedropper this chamber, and now there we go. You can see it added a bunch of triangles here, right, in order to make this work. But it cut a hole in the island based on the chamber, right? So now this chamber is able to cut up through the island, and so at least in principle we should be able to link up these sewers to this chamber, and then this chamber we can have like a little tunnel that comes out here, and then there will be like multiple entrances to the sewers, right? Like you can enter the sewer here, you can go through these different combat chambers, you can traverse down here where there'll be like goodies to find. There's like a mini boss here which goes up into the water treatment plant. There's like a hectic combat scenario here which exits into these things. And then I also at some point want to have another maybe connection that goes up through here into this space elevator. So so that you can fly all the way out of the sewers, up through the space elevator, and into the skies so that you're like above these cruisers. I think just having like multiple points of connection through the level are like interesting that way. So what time are we looking at right now? It's about 4 o'clock. When did I start recording? I completely forgot. Wait, let's see when I when did I post to Twitter and say I'm on stream? I said we were hanging out about an hour ago. That was 2:30. So we're approaching about an hour and a half. I usually let these go for about 2 hours, so I'll finish out. How about the next half hour? There's just a few tunnels we need to add. We need to add one tunnel from here to here. We need to add another tunnel from here. I'm going to actually leave this tunnel out for now because I think I actually want to do more stuff underneath here. Like, actually what I'm thinking is that basically there's going to be a big furnace underneath the industrial island. So they're like, I want to have a big section in here. Like, this is going to be like all like a big like lava pit with like a bunch of red flames and stuff, like they're smelting or something. And then you come up here and it'll just be like smoke coming up like from all the furnaces that are below. So I think actually this guy is going to be a lot taller. Not radius, not radius. Height, height, height. Zip. So this is, yeah, like maybe, and then this is maybe like the radius is a lot bigger. Perspective, top, and like maybe this is position. Nope, we want this guy. Maybe this is position like completely under the island. Perspective, and then there will just be like some connections, just like vertical shafts that come out of like this area that go up into this area. It looks like this light is poking through that again. No, it's not. Okay, there's something else going on down there. But let's increase your attenuation radius so that you actually fill this area. Give you a simpler fall off curve. You are hella not centered, so let's fix that. Oh, and you're not even near the top of this. So much to fix. Okay, so we want you to be centered. We'll look from the side here. We want to pull you up to here. We want your attenuation radius to extend to the bottom. Maybe like that, and then really pull these angles in. There we go. No, maybe we do a little more than that. 30 degrees. One probably just needs multiple lights, but there's at least enough to make it illuminated. So now, let's see. We have this tube coming in here. We can back that out a little bit. I'll poke this. This light is funky. What's going on here? I think maybe just not have an intercone angle. Spotlight is just the wrong light for this type of space. I gotta fix that later. Like 70 degrees, like I bet the shadow looks terrible. Like the shadow map, the shadow map resolution is not going to handle a spotlight like that. And like, what is happening in the corner? Okay, this is just going to have to be lit, not via a spotlight. Or like have multiple spotlights. But, so yeah, let's add a tunnel from here to here. So, let's take this tunnel. We'll like dupe you. We'll just junk all your segments. Now we have an empty tunnel. I'm going to call you Tunnel A for now. And the only thing that this position represents is basically like the local origin of this mesh. It's not a big deal. It doesn't actually matter where it is, but I like to keep it at least within the bounding box of the tunnel. So now let's add some junctions. I'm just gonna copy one of my older junctions here. Say perspective top. So we do a junction here. That's junction 37. And we do a junction here. That's junction 38. Let's move them up. Burp. Let's find our tunnel A. And then we'll just create a single segment from this junction to this junction. Bada bing. We need to update you to also subtract. Oh, these have like all are checking all kinds of unnecessary tunnels. That's interesting. I only care about sewer tunnel S and sewer tunnel A. So let's delete some of these. Or how do I do that? Delete, 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 and then your tunnel A. Bada bing. Now there is a hole in this one. You only care about tunnel A. And you don't care about any of these other tunnels. You also don't care about any of these. You only care about the south tunnel, which is this big network over here. So now you can fly into here. You can fly into here. And then let's add one more tunnel. We will scrap your segment. We're going to call you Tunnel B. Nope, not Tunnel AB. Tunnel B. And let's grab this junction. Let's move it up here. Zip. Cool. Alright, we'll have it sticking out this way. So that's 39 and 40. So let's go to tunnel B. Let's add a segment. We want it to go junction 39 to junction 40. Boop. And we want from you to also subtract tunnel B. Bada bing. Now we've got this sticking out. Let's just sort of move it down here so it's a little more flush with the ground. Poke you, get your hole in the right place. And then actually this one, I think I want to make the gutter, I just want to make this like square. I think maybe make you just like smaller. Just make it like 600 segment width, 800, just like a little box cut through there. Cool. And then I'm actually gonna let's actually grab. So this one's got 3738. Okay, so tunnel 37 and tunnel 38. I want to just attach you to this tunnel actor so I can just move you all at once. I think what I want to do is line up maybe not. I'll figure this all out later, but this gets plugged into here. Maybe I pull this actor up a bit. And let's actually make I can make your chamfer bigger, right? Yeah. Let's give this 750 chamfer on those chambers. Line you up so that your chamfer and that little midpoint lines up. Maybe this guy, just for funsies. I move your junction up so that you're like aligned with the top here. Poke this, move the hole. So this one, maybe it's like you come in at the bottom, but then you leave at the top. Well, that's not aligned very nicely. Let's fix that. Perspective, top. You should be like there. You should be like there. Grab these, poke them, boop, boop, boop. So now, is this good? I don't know. I think this might not be good actually. Whoa! Pull you in. Maybe that slips too much. I'll just drop this down. Maybe just bring the height of this down. And we'll grab this spotlight, pull you back in here. Attenuation radius is way big. So we can pull that in. Great. So now you can come in here from the sewers. You can fly up here. Comes down a little bit. I need to figure out what's going on there. I need to poke this? Yeah. Okay. We can fly in this tunnel here. This will be like a big furnace. There'll be a bunch of catwalks and industrial stuff. And then you can fly out just this like big entrance right here. And I think this guy's gone too tall. Spotlight goes down here. Cool. So that's sort of our first foray into building out the industrial area. And yeah, I just need to basically, I don't think I'm going to use tunnels to connect this and this. Here, wait. this up. Let's move this up, align it with that. Okay, let's make this chamfer bigger as well. And go back to these junctions that I was adjusting. Line them up. By the way, you keep seeing every time I move these tunnels, I come over here and I just click this poke. That's just I'm like indicating that it needs to update its mesh. I didn't want to do a system where like all the meshes automatically updated with any other mesh did because I was afraid that was going to slow everything down. I only like one mesh auto-generating at a time, and once I get it, I update everything else. So that's what that's all about. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to use tunnels to connect the vertical shafts between this like subterranean guy, who actually I think you can be a little bit taller. And Z, subtract 1,000. Great. But I do think like, yeah, I need to think a lot about this. There's bad stuff happening. Need to figure out where all that light leaking is coming from. I think the light leaking is just I need to block. I think like the I've got a actually if I go under the water there is a surface here. I think it's hidden right now. Does this block that light leaking? No, that doesn't block that light leaking. Okay. I'll have to figure that out later. But anyway, let's just let's do a fly through, see everything working, and I'll do that using the pirate fighter because I don't usually play as the pirate fighter. I need to play as all my characters more often. But so we'll just come in here. Bada bing. Oh, what is this? Oh, is this that? Is there a reason I'm only... Oh my goodness! How long has it just been code? Ah! I've had this on my other screen this whole time? Oh no! I'm gonna have to go back in the archive and see how long this has been off screen. I may have just been talking over code for like an hour. But yeah, no, there's a big city, there's a big sewer system. Oh my goodness, I feel so embarrassed. Anyway, let's look here. I think this is, let's see, actor, hidden in game. Is this not, this two, why is it not subtracting? Let's see, islands to subtract. It's subtracting this island, right? Oh, let's go back here. Oh, what we need to do is say, I see. This is a very, like, boring thing, but, if we're making, like, a Boolean version of this shape, then we do not want to cut a hole in it. Because if you cut holes in Boolean shapes, they don't function properly. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now, oh my goodness, I can select this one. We can just poke you. And now, okay, cool. It was basically, there's like a second water line under the water, and it wasn't being subtracted from the island, so it was like clipping through here. But now, yeah, so we can do a run through. We can fly into this chamber. We can fly down this big chamber. This will be like a big furnace. There will be like real smelting stuff going on down here. We can fly in here. We've got this loop that we added. Oh my goodness, I'm crashing into walls. I'm a bad pilot. Fly around here. Fly out here. Here we are in the like drainage basin. Fly out of the drainage basin. And we're back in the above ground again. And everybody's shooting me. Everyone's mad at me. And apparently I'm bad at hitting them. What's happening? Dude. Okay. So there we go. That's the stream. I'm going for about 2 hours. So my voice is a little bit hoarse. I need to drink some water. But yeah, I put all this stuff up on YouTube. I'm going to have to check the video afterwards and make sure. Oops, I didn't spend half the stream just showing code and not actually showing the game. I think it was when it was crashed and it reopened. I didn't notice. But unfortunately, I was not recording all my screens. I need to figure out how to get OBS to record all my screens. Then I could fix this in the future. But yeah, I don't know. I'll just have to tag this and be like, hey, sorry fam. I wasn't showing all the cool stuff I was doing for like half an hour. But yeah, just to review, you know, I started out doing a little bit of work to get the navigation on these like walking dinguses better. Here I'll go back to Ace to demonstrate that. This is a little easier to control. Oh my good, God mode is off. God mode is off. They can hurt me. Oh no, I forgot. You can see they're a lot better about like not ganging up on each other and not crashing into the walls of the tunnels and the buildings and stuff. So, and they can come out, they can come back into this square. Oh, I exploded. Oh, they're still onto me. We can come around yonder. I can get them to chase me into this boulevard. I can get them to chase me up this hill onto the high area of the city. So then we switch gears. We were looking at this sewer system. Originally, I just had this one branch from this chamber to this chamber, but we extended it. We had a branch that came out this way. We added a loop. We added like water that flows around the loop. We added this like high road, low road branch where you can like go deeper or you can go higher. If you go higher, there's a series of chambers that take you up into the industrial island. And if you go lower, I think this is going to be like a big like lava pit with some like exhaust vertical shafts going up that you can fly up through. And that is where we're at. So just the like big list of everything left to do on this island. I need to fill out all the industrial factories and stuff, which is going to take like friggin' forever. I need to fill in this like luxury part of the island, and then there's basically a Greeble pass I need to take on the main island and everything, where I just like add a bunch of like detailing and greebles and stuff, like antennas and little pipes and things to give this like a little more detail. And then I think the last thing I'm going to do, because I'm still thinking about what the design should be, is fill in this giant like space elevator arcology. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't think this is going to be the final layout for how the sewers go, but I think this is like a good like initial stab at like building out sort of more of the level. I do have a concern that this is like quite a lot of distance. Like you compare it like to the city, and it's like flying through these tunnels from like here to here is like as long as it takes to fly across the city. So maybe this is too much. Maybe I need to like compact this and like move it over a little bit or something, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, Silver3 Ben says, where can I get the music on your stream? I love it. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, It says now playing Elysium, Carl Casey. I had no idea who this was. I literally just searched copyright-free, Twitch-safe synthwave, and apparently this person adds it on Spotify. So you can search Carl Casey on Spotify and find it. Cool. So I wasn't lying about losing my voice. I'm really feeling it now. I'm gonna bounce, but yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.